Hi, my name is Keith. I just recently got this Traeger Grill. I've been learning to run it, and one of the things I've noticed is at times I wish I had a little more rack space. So I ran down to the hardware store and I picked up this rack. I thought I'd see if I could find a way to mount it in there. Came up with a scheme that I thought might be interesting for someone else who's facing the same question. So my idea is to build the shelf off of this lip here. I've built a couple of standoffs here. I'll show you how I did that in a minute. The idea here is to have something that lifts off the main grill, but without drilling any holes in the side here. I just hate to cut holes on the outside of the device. The first step I'm going to tackle is the spacers. Don't you hate it when people in these YouTube videos say, well, I happen to have some titanium in the shop and so I made it out of that. Well, I'm going to pull a little bit of that on you here. I've got some stainless steel ends from a screw machine operation here, which I'll use. You could also use just some steel if you want to, if you have the ability to do this. A hacksaw and a drill and a die, a tap would probably work for that. The other option is you could just use a piece of pipe, cut it to length, and then just use a long enough bolt to be able to reach all the way through the whole thing to make a stack up work. That would work pretty well. The other thing we're going to talk about is the angle iron and how to build out a little piece like that to bolt into that sides of the Traeger grill there so we can give something for our rack to sit on top of. And this is all happening in a hangar in my backyard. So you got an airplane back there, and it's nice to have some equipment to work with. You know, collect as many toys as you can and use them to build cool stuff like this. Okay, so see what we're doing here is we're just going to drill a hole in the end of the shaft, make a few chips. Chips are always good fun. And when we get that deep enough, pull it out and true up the edge a little bit. Just make it nice and clean. Just a little cheap and dirty chip cutting there. Then we cut some threads and go on to the next step. Okay, so a little bit of tapping into that hole. Give us some nice threads to work with. Now I confess that I was really lucky on this one. This one already had a pretty good hole and some threads in it. If you start playing with stainless, you'll find out that cutting threads is extremely difficult. What I did on this one was for the back half threads. The front half threads I was able to tap out pretty well. For the back half threads I wasn't. So what I did was I just threaded in a bolt like this and tightened it up real good, and then sawed it off right there. Cleaned up the edge with a file. And ended up with a stud. So I've got a stud on one end and threads on the other. So the next tool is one of these little $100 Chinese band saws, which is a pretty valuable thing to use. I just finished cutting off this angle here. The next is to cut the other way, and as you can see I can use the stop there to make them all the same length, and cut the next one. Okay, well I saved you all the boring steps of trial fits and measuring and stuff like that. Basically we ended up with a piece of angle iron, which is just the right length, and it's got a little bit of a shape so it'll fit under the lid of the Traeger. Those little tabs that I cut, they look like that when they're done, and I drilled a hole in it with a drill press and just welded them on. So just picked a dimension that was approximately the right length, and we're going to see if that fits now. Oh, let's see, I also hung it from a wire here, gave it a good spray paint, let it dry, so it's a nice dry part. Hopefully about ready for installation. Okay, here's the corner of the grill. This is what the standoff looks like here. As you see, we've got a threaded at the top there with a bolt, and we've got a threaded stud at the bottom. So we're ready to install that baby. Now I need a holes right in here. Now what I actually did was I laid the part right in here and reached in there and drilled the hole in just the right spot, just by fit. Now you need a kind of a clever tool for that. As luck would have it, when you play with airplanes you end up with some fun little airplane tools. This is a pneumatic angle drive, and so I'm able to just reach right in here and drill away. So that's the way that was done. There's other ways to do it. There's other tools to do it. And you always want to get new tools, don't you? So this might be your opportunity to go get some of those. And then we just bolt her in there. How hard can it be, right? And if you've trued off the end of your stainless steel or your end of your shaft there properly, then it's automatically going to be straight. It might be wise to avoid tightening the bottom too much until you've got the top bolted in. With both standoffs installed, now it's time to put in the cube bracket. Just goes like that. Now I built it this way with just little tabs instead of a full piece of angle iron across the back to allow for free air movement, and especially because I do have the digital temperature probe on the other side. I want to make sure that there's plenty of room for that to operate properly. the last one in here. Just like that. And there's nothing like doing a project outside to make it rain, so it's just starting to rain a little bit here now. And we'll just double check we have all 4 of them properly tight. Let's try it out for size. Yeah, this is a little bit weird because the good side is so alright, that's how that looks. Seems to work pretty well. Just to give you a sense of the other side here, you see the temperature probe fits around right through the back there like that. So hopefully that's going to let me install everything without getting in the way of anything. So let's give it a try. Here's the tray, nicely wrapped in tin foil as recommended. Here's the factory grill that goes in here, and of course it connects from the back to the front. It doesn't use the side, and in fact my little standoffs actually kind of help it from bouncing around too much. And when I'm ready, I'll be able to slide that one in like that, and I'll have a nice 3-level. So that's the plan. That's the outcome, and it's about time to start cooking, see how it works. So it's all loaded up, ready for some good cooking. We got 4 slabs of ribs, some corn, potatoes, and looks like good eating on the way. So that's my little grill project. I hope you enjoyed it. Give me a chance to use all my tools that I've collected and come up with something that's good eat and go with it. And now it's really starting to rain, so catch you on the next one.